Today is July 2nd, and the Anvil operation in Halo Infinite is finally here. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the operation pass itself, the new items available in the store and the exchange, and any other little bits of news that you might not be aware of. So anyway, without wasting any more of your time, let's jump straight in. First things first, for logging in through the month of July, players can claim the Disability Pride Month armor coating, visor, and emblem. These are a free set that you don't need to do anything to claim, and honestly, the pattern and coloration can remind me of some of the Reach concept art spawns. The exchange has seen a really huge update today, at least in comparison to what we've seen from it before, bringing out 2 new armor coatings, a new wrist attachment, 5 brand new emblems and a new backdrop, as well as bringing back a ton of old event items, most of which are centered around the Rikshasa core, things like the Morrigan helmet, the Wolffang chest attachment, and some other little pieces. But it's not just for Rikshasa, we've got a chest attachment for Mirage, a utility piece for the Mark 7, both of which were old Ultimate rewards. There's also some visors and some returning coatings too. And from what I'm aware of, every coating available on the exchange is completely cross-core. The new coatings might definitely excite some people, as we finally have the new Dynasty coating, that being Din's coating, that players have wanted since they saw it in Season 2, since it was locked to his kit specifically and you couldn't use it on your own spawn, but now you can, and it's fully cross-core. However, it does cost 30,000 Spartan points, so I'm hoping that the update today has brought some new ways to earn Spartan points with it. The other new coating is Grey Avarice. This is supposed to be a Banished theme coating to pair up with the new event pass, and overall it looks pretty decent. It's a nice free grey coating, with a pretty cool texture on the undersuit. The other items that were on the exchange before this are no longer visible on there, however, I believe they are still available, as you can just go into the armor hall, click on any of the coatings or other items that have released in the exchange prior, press on them, and then it'll guide you to where you can purchase them with your Spartan points. The store has also seen a large refresh, bringing back various older bundles, most of which are on sale, and a few new things too. First of all, we have the return of the Vigilant Sniper bundle. This gives you the orange chestnut weapon coating for the S7, though it is now fully cross-core and you do get it for all your weapons. You also get the Fossil Tree stance and the Vigilant emblem. This costs 400 credits, for that price it's not too bad. The Cat Lovers bundle has also made its grand return, giving players the Faded Blush armor coating, the Perfect Audio helmet attachment, the Tabby Rare charm, and the Cat Epic charm. This bundle is back for only 350 credits, so for a fully cross-core armor coating and a helmet attachment that is compatible with most Mark 7 helmet attachments, I don't think that's too bad. The Flash Forward bundle is also back, giving you the armor coating of the same name that's fully cross-core, the vehicle coating of the same name that's fully cross-core, and the weapon coating of the same name, which again is fully cross-core. Alongside this, you also get the Cowcatcher Epic Vehicle model, which I believe is compatible on both the Warthog and the Rocket Hog, however it might not be on the Razorback. Either way, a fully cross-core coating that's on your armor, vehicles, and weapons alongside a vehicle model for just 900 credits honestly isn't too bad of a deal. We also have the return of the Lechuza armor set, which gives you the helmet of the same name, the Sunshine Pass armor coating, the CBRN attachment for Lechuza. You also get a chest attachment for Rikshasa, some shoulder pads, some gloves for Rikshasa, some knee pads. You get the Boombox Epic stance and the Fireteam Dagger emblem. For 1000 credits, far from the worst armor set we've seen. This bundle was released at 1200, so this is 200 credits cheaper than its original pricing. And considering you get some decent armor pieces here, this honestly isn't a bad deal. Following that, we have the ULLR armor set, which is also returned on sale for 1100. I believe this released at 1600 credits, though I could be mistaken. Either way, I do remember this being one of the more expensive ones when it released. You get the helmet of the same name alongside its Farlight helmet attachment, which I believe is also compatible with the Taskmaster helmet that released during the last Yappening operation. You also get the Rusty Armadillo armor coating, the Ruckamuk Hippo Tooth chest attachment, the Red Scan utility piece, you get some shoulder pads and some knee pads for Rikshasa alongside some gloves. And then finally you get the ICU emblem, which of course you get as a nameplate, weapon emblem, vehicle emblem, and armor emblem. For 1100, I don't think it's as good as Lechuza, which gives you the same amount of items and is 100 credits cheaper. Especially considering if you wanted to buy ULLR, you would need to spend extra money. But again, in comparison to some other armor sets we've seen, and some of the prices we'll talk about a little bit later on, it's far from a bad offer. We have 2 more returning bundles before we can move on to the new stuff, but this is the first time we've seen either of these on sale from my understanding, and these are the Hivebreaker Bunyip and Hivebreaker Viper bundles. Starting with Bunyip, you get the helmet, alongside its Provis T-Cam helmet attachment. You also get some shoulder pads, a chest attachment for Rikshasa, a wrist attachment, and a utility piece. You also get the Shaded Showdown armor coating for all of your cores, and the Node Connect visor. For 1200, again, not a terrible offer. You will notice it is missing the Surgeon weapon model. That is because you can instead buy that individually, I believe, for 600 credits. So it is no longer a part of either of the Hivebreaker bundles. I think 1,200 for both of these is a much more ideal price, but let's quickly just talk about the items that are in the Viper bundle, where of course you get the Node Disconnect Visor, the Viper Helmet, you also get an attachment for Viper, alongside the 3 Preyers shoulder pads, you get the Pro Dock chest attachment, the Pockets Dock utility piece, and the Millwood gloves. And following on from that, you also get the Grim Echo armor coating for all of your cores. Again, 1,200 for an armor set isn't too bad. We were getting armor sets that were releasing at that price for quite a while, and it's good to see these be lowered to something that I believe is much more acceptable, even if personally I'm still probably going to skip out on these. Okay, now that we've got all the old stuff out of the way, let's talk about some of the newer bundles. Most of you are all aware, of course, by now that the Anvil operation wasn't supposed to be the event that released today. It was instead going to be Spartan Surplus, which gave players new Markv Cosmetics. But for some reason, that has been changed to Anvil, and instead, those Markv Cosmetics have been released on the store. These have arrived in the Field Modifications bundle, which costs 1,000 credits and gives you 4 items, but technically it's just 3, as you get the Okonom helmet, the Gregor shoulder pads, and the Macrobionics utility piece, which was actually also released in another bundle, but for some reason is a part of this one too. 1,000 credits for just 3 pieces of armor is pretty absurd, especially in consideration. 1,000 credits for 3 pieces of armor is pretty absurd, especially when you take into consideration the various bundles that we've just spoken about. However, if you just want to buy one of these, well, you do have the option to buy all 3 individually, but that doesn't work out much cheaper either. The Okonom helmet on its own cost 800 credits, which is wild. Back in Season 1, I believe, Firefall was released on its own for 700, and even then, people hated that. That was a terrible pricing. I think if this was released between 300 to 500 credits, that'd be much more acceptable. Of course, they do want the bundle to seem like a better deal, but I think releasing it at 800 is honestly quite absurd. The shoulder pads also cost 600, when we've seen shoulder pads go down to at least 75 credits. New ones coming up for 600 again is just insane. Especially when these are items that people thought we were going to be able to unlock for free. Since 343 changed the operation, I would have assumed that they would have put these in the exchange. I think that would have been much fairer and would have made much more sense. The only one of these 3 items that is priced fairly on its own is the utility piece, which you can get for just 200 credits. I do also think it's funny that a Mark IV helmet and Mark IV shoulder pads are paired in a bundle with an SPI Mirage utility piece. That doesn't really seem like it makes a ton of sense. But then again, neither does releasing these items on the store. And following on from that, we have one final brand new bundle which contains a whopping 20 items, but costs the insane price of 3,200 credits. So before I even talk about what's in here, once again, I want to clarify, we really need the option to buy items individually out of their bundles. Or, if 343 are going to release these huge super bundles, they should be released as 2 separate bundles as well, like we've seen in the past. Field Modifications, as terrible as its pricing is, does at least give you the option to buy those items individually if you just want one thing specifically, and the fact that this one doesn't is insane. But anyway, let's talk about what's here. First of all, you get the Cutthroat Legendary Helmet alongside its Evil Eye Legendary Helmet attachment. You also get the Cutthroat Pauldrons and the Skirmisher Plate Chest attachment. In case it wasn't already clear, most of these cosmetics are of course based on jackals. You also get the Piratical Lockbox utility piece and the Spine Watch Legendary wrist attachment alongside the Ian Geode armor coating, which personally I'm not a huge fan of. After that, you also get the Negotiator helmet alongside the Epsilon Eyes helmet attachment, which is of course very clearly a Jackal sniper. You also get the Thieving Pauldron shoulder attachments, the Code Enforcer chest attachment, the Motive Booster Pack utility piece, the Seeker Tracker Marker Light wrist attachment, that's quite a mouthful. You also get the Hunting Pads knee pads, the Wealth Transfer armor coating, the Year of the Jackal weapon coating, the Eminent Privateer kill effect, which is kind of cool. And finally, you get a weapon model for the Commando that makes it look much more like a Covenant weapon. This is really cool, and I would love to be able to purchase this individually, but as we've already mentioned, unfortunately, that isn't an option. 3,200 for all of this isn't necessarily a terrible price. You of course get a lot of items here, and a lot of these armor pieces are pretty cool. I like the Jackal theming. However, realistically, no one is able to use this much armor on their Spartan at any given time, so I do not see any reason for all this to be released in one super huge bundle without giving people the option to get some of these items individually. I know a lot of people would probably love to just get the Jackal Sniper helmet or the Commando weapon model like I've already said, but instead if you want any of these, it's going to set you back 3,200 credits or $32. And for a game that definitely is starting to become a little bit stale in regards to its content, I don't think bundles should be releasing for this much money. The cosmetics are cool, but the gameplay content that's releasing alongside it isn't enough. Anyways, moving on to the Anvil Operation Pass. For purchasing it for 500 credits, players get the Smash and Grab weapon model for the Spanker, alongside the Rent Seeker weapon coating for all of your weapons for just 500 credits. Honestly, that's a pretty good deal, at least for Halo Infinite standards. The weapon model itself looks amazing and makes your rocket launcher look much more banished in nature, and the weapon coating that it comes with makes your weapons look a little bit more Covenant themed. Of course, everything else in the operation is free for the next 27 days, but if you do purchase this, then you get permanent access to the pass. The items in the pass are the Blades and Barbs emblem, which is fine. You also get up to 15,000 Spartan points, the Assailer knee pads for the Rikshasa core. You also get the Assailer belt utility piece for the Rikshasa core, the Assailer heart plate chest attachment, and this looks pretty nice. You also get the Assailer pauldron shoulder pads, which are cross-core. You get the Assailer helmet and the Mimic mask legendary attachment, which again, both of these are cross-core, and the Assailer helmet itself is based on elite officers. I do think this is a decent pass that does contain some cool cosmetics, though I do find it amusing that the theme of this event is Anvil Station, yet the armor is banished armor. I have skipped out on purchasing the last few operation passes, but I might consider this one, just because the items you get with it do genuinely feel like they're worth the 500 credits, and I still have a ton left over. Anyway, aside from that, there is one final big thing that has arrived with this update, this being a brand new big team battle mode, BTB Sentry Defense, which is technically our first PvPvE game type. And this is actually released with a new map too, called Command, which is of course community made, and so is the game mode. But essentially how it works, both teams have a Agilent resolution which they need to protect, and when their Agilent resolutions are destroyed, they lose the match. This mode is a ton of fun, and I do definitely recommend checking it out. It's nice to finally get a PvPvE mode, and hopefully this is the first of many. Anyways, moving over to this week's community spotlight, first things first, we have this pretty cool tactical Magnum prop made by Bike, which looks amazing. Following on from that, we have this gorgeous render from Currently Not Here. They've somehow managed to make their way into almost every single one of these community spotlight segments, and each render just seems like it gets better and better, and this is certainly no exception. And then finally we have a Husky Raid clip from Noble Ninja, with this pretty explosive overkill that they managed to get with the tracking rocket launcher, that must have been overcharged by the drop shields as they were able to wipe out every player with a single shot. And finally, we have this week's Spartan of the Week segment. This week, I asked you all for your best birthday party-themed Spartans, as today happens to also be my birthday, which makes me sound extremely self-centered, I'm aware. But anyway, once again, there was a ton of really good submissions, and I've chosen 3, the first one being from You Lose. Next up, we have this cake candle-inspired build from Noble Ninja, and finally, Spectral submitted a gift-wrapped Grenadier build. I just want to, of course, quickly say a big thank you to everyone in the Discord and over on Twitter for all of the birthday wishes. I really do appreciate it. And with that, I think it's time to wrap up this very long shop video. But as always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.